It is time to get this done and finish prepping the Japanese Land Rover Discovery 4 for its MOT. Welcome back to the channel, and in this episode I finish off rebuilding and installing the brakes, fit new wiper blades and sort out those dreadful license plates. So once again, grab yourself a cold or hot one and enjoy the detail.
Whilst we're waiting for some bits to dry, paint, I may as well crack on with the back here. Largely the same, except obviously we've got the handbrake shoes and all that to deal with. Let's jack this bit up, get the wheel off and get cleaning up. These are for RØDE. Just a bit of a wiggle. Shoes are in good condition. These again look original. These, it's got a Land Rover stamp on it. Looking good.
Why is my clutch in the car?
Why what?
Oh, that's a hammer. It's a bit too heavy.
Is it too heavy? Literally penetrating fluid was only on 5 minutes ago. Is that unheard of for these things? I don't know. It's unheard of for me working on cars before. Things actually just come off. These get stuck, so I want to lubricate this up anyway. I'm going to degrease everything in here, clean it all up, wire wheel all this, spray it with some epoxy rust converter and paint it in situ just to keep it at bay. And then I'll replace it in the future if I ever need to do the wheel bearing. So let's get the jet wash out. This is a dilute atom mac, has a corrosion inhibitor. Fast forward on this one, as you can see, this has been painted in situ now and has been cured with the infrared lamp. There was some corrosion back here that I wasn't happy with, so that's been treated and painted. Everything metal's been sprayed with ACF 50, getting all the electrical connectors, etc. Everything obviously except the exhaust. Everything's in really good condition, really happy with it. New handbrake set up all around, so handbrake cable removed, new spring, all new adjuster kits here, new Bosch shoes, new springs, new arms, everything's brand new on here. Just one thing to note, there's a little helper spring here, which apparently is on some models and not on others. It says in the workshop manual. The kit, I've got 2 kits. I had to do a bit of a pick and mix to get hold of all the parts that I needed, because this wasn't included in some kits and blah, blah, blah. This was the original. And I don't know if you can just pick up on the camera, it's actually got a little bit of green paint on it, and the workshop manual refers to green and red springs. These have turned up uncoloured, so this is the in the UK driver's side is green, and the spring is a little bit longer on one of the arms, so when I take the other side off, I'm hoping the other side's shorter, then I know I've got it the right way around. But there you have it. This was a faff to put together, similar with other handbrake systems, but it's just for some reason an extra faff with these little pins and the way that the spring goes above this arm, etc. But yeah, it's done now. It's unfortunately still in park, so I'm gonna have to get it in, lock the wheels off so it doesn't roll anywhere, get it in neutral, so that I can put the disc on and rotate it and then adjust these. Oh, one other thing as well, didn't mention it anywhere, is this little mechanism that's here. So when you've got the shoes, the new shoes off, or your old shoes, is take this mechanism apart, lube it all up with some copper grease, put it back together, tightened up, and then now it's all in place, give it a lot of taps with a rubber mallet, and then loosen that off to allow it to adjust itself, and then tighten it back up again. And it just helps push the pressure outwards at the bottom here, and even the spread of this pad, so it's not just all on this top edge when it's touching the drum. It's spread out. I guess if you're going to do it super properly, you do that. Put the disc on, do a lot of hammering, take the disc back off maybe, and do something, or try and, I don't know if you can do that bolt when it's in the housing, I don't know, but I'm happy with it for now. Everything in here has been sprayed with ACF 50 as well, obviously, except for the pad material, which I've masked off and then wiped down with brake cleaner. I'll give it a final wipe down just before the disc goes on. So I need to get this in neutral, put the disc on, and wind this out just so it's touching, so that there's hand resistance. The resistance when you turn it from the housing, not from the disc, and then back it off a full rotation, and then we're good to go. Discs are in the oven now, curing with the paint. I'm probably going to do a separate video just on paint, because I've had loads of nightmares with paint in general, and particularly this paint. Really good stuff once it's on and cured, but to get it to cure, it's just an absolute nightmare, and reaction problems, etc. So they're in the oven at the minute. The discs, the calipers have been in, and the carriers, and they're as cured as they've got to be. I need to get it back on the car. So I'm going to head over to reassembling both the front and rear calipers, and then we can chuck them on. I've had to reuse the old guide pins. I've cleaned them all up, see, polished. There's no problem with them, to be honest with you, really good condition, because the ones that came in this auto friend kit, part number there, too short. This is for the rear, by the way, too short, and don't have the little indent for the silicone bush that sits on the lower one, so I'll have to reuse the old ones. It's not an issue. Decided to reuse the TRW rubbers as well, because the new ones look like that instead. Another reason why I don't like these discs is they appear to be generic. It's got two lug bolts, and of course 50% chance of getting it right and I get it wrong. So we've gone with EBC Automax 2 pads all round. Like I said, not sure if these are the forever brakes anyway, so I don't want to spend the expense of getting some yellow stuff pads or whatever, which I've got for the Range Rover, but I've got the Automax 2 pads on the back on the Range Rover and I've got no problems with them. These are like an OE plus, I would call them, spec. I think they've got a higher friction rating than the OE ones. They've got some spectacular claims, and the fact that they're metal free should reduce on the metallic brake dust. Don't know what they make them out of, some sort of resin, but the only downside to these is, well, a couple of things. I did have to flick a bit of paint, believe it or not, painting pads on the outside here, because the machining process, the heat and pressure, whatever they do around this corner here, probably cutting that in, just melts away the paint. And as I said before, I don't do that many miles and the rust will take over before these wear out and just look unsightly, especially when I've gone to the effort of doing all the rest of the paint work. And also they don't come with any anti-squeal shims on the back, so I'm really relying on the other version of this stuff, the anti-squeal stuff, which I won't get in a minute, to stop any brake squeals. So let's pop these in. The little balancer goes on the outside. I just had a look at my previous video, so it goes at the top. Yep. this stuff, which is probably a ceramic based grease. I've decided actually I'm not going to put it on here because it's just unsightly, and I don't know how well this would wash off if I wanted it to come off while I'm cleaning the wheels. But I've put it on the caliper, as you will have seen in the previous clip, instead. So on the caliper face that clamps around here and on the back of the pistons, and they're the bits that touch. I could put a bit on the back because you won't see it, but it's just here. I don't really want loads of grease slapped everywhere collecting dirt, so leave that bit dry, pop some on the back. £275 Nm. I don't have anything that does that, so 200 plus of it. There we go. That is tighten off. FT. Special FT setting. Fucking tight. There we go. Plenty of thread lock on there as a backup. They look pretty amazing. With the black on here as well, and the black on there. Bit of an odd combination with the blue. It looks like Lego or something. But hopefully that should wash off. Can't press the pedal down yet because obviously I've got the rear open. Let's get this union on. Do the nipple up rear, just a little bit. And put the wheel on. That's the special bit. I've got some new copper crush washers off eBay. I've got a generic kit, but none of them were anywhere near as chunky as the original ones. These are these are spot on. So here it is. The first modification, I think, from memory. New shape Defender wheels. If you've seen the previous videos, you'll know that I'm a fan of these because I've got them on the Range Rover. I couldn't pass these up really. I needed to get this for its MOT and all the wheels. The tyres are cracked. And the price of these wheels was less than the price of some tyres for that. And they're not endgame wheels anyway that came off. So it's a no-brainer. These are in nowhere near as good condition as the ones that I've got on the Range Rover because I spent a lot of time polishing them up. These have got but also these have got a lot of like surface scratch damage, like it's been through car washes and yeah, nasty stuff. The tyres are in much better condition without all the slime on. However, you'll notice that it's the Goodyear Wrangler All-Terrain Adventure, which I think specific for Land Rover. So it'll be interesting to see how these ride. I've got the Continentals, the factory Continentals on the Range Rover, and they run really well. But I think the all-terrain look will suit the Discovery much better and do me until I know what sort of wheels that I want to get. Biggest, widest, chunkiest things I can fit really. So these were cleaned up a couple of weeks ago. Just been sat here. I'm going to chuck these on and I think it's going to look pretty good. Oh, and the centre caps. I've got some new centre caps coming to get rid of the green Land Rover badge, so I'm just going to pop that one's popped out, pop the rest out. But yeah, let's throw this on and it's going to look mint against the red calipers, I reckon. So I'm not a weakling, honest. But I use one of these little wheel dollies for jacking up cars and moving around to get the wheels on, just because when I polished up the other wheels I didn't want to ding them all and scratch them all when I was putting them on. the hub, and in this case it's the reverse. I don't want to ding and scratch all the calipers. And also it's just a really awkward height. There really are, you know, big heavy wheels and tyres to be able to sling them in at a lower height and get them on without mashing up all your paint. So this thing's been a godsend really. Oh. So I've got the cup holders out, the water shedder, and then just underneath there, probably the only benefit of having a cable system, old school way of shifting gears, shifting in drive, is you just pull that up and you can slide it into neutral. That's hand tight from the bell here, but if you did it from the outside, you could probably just do it, yeah. We'll go with that, mark it off with a pen, and then back it off one full revolution. Yeah, you get the idea. There we go. Perfect. I think that looks awesome. The light's not doing it justice because the sun's going down. Really suits the car. you could just see that negative offset poking them out a little bit. Just slightly. I have to measure, but they look, the tread's definitely tucked in, but this outer looks almost in line with the outside of the arch. Pretty cool. Right, that's it. I'm not going to bore you with doing the other side, so we'll flash forward where I need to do that corner, all the same again, and then we'll catch up when it's all done. Just a quick video on this side. I think I mentioned previously in the video when I was doing the timing chains, when I bought the car, there was a knocking noise on this corner, and yeah, I think I explained it in the first video of me explaining how I got this car, so go back and watch that if you haven't seen it. But I used it to also haggle the price down a bit, because he obviously didn't have a clue what he was doing. And that there was a knocking noise. The nut is just not been tightened up. But why was it off in the first case? Well, they haven't changed that, because that's length order and looks old. It's genuine. It was this. They've changed the anti-roll bar drop link, and I can't tell what brand it is. We'll figure it out when it comes off, but it doesn't look to have any sort of length order stamp on it. And based on the bodgery of that garage, of everything else, there's not a chance they'll have bought genuine anyway. So I figured I may as well, while I'm here, rather than wait for that to break, because it will, I'll just stick on a genuine length order piece whilst I'm here. That's it, she's done. All the brakes are on and the wheels are on, and she's lowered down to access height. You ready to see it? Oof. I think that just looks amazing. It sits very nicely in access height. I think we are going to have some rubbing issues on these little chassis horns here, which I believe they introduced on later Discovery 3s and all the Discovery 4s. It slightly just catches the knobbly bits here in all heights, and it seems to get better as the car is higher. So I can raise it 50 odd mil using the ID tool, which I might do, but I've not driven it yet at all. So I'm not sure how big of a problem it is, and obviously I've got to MOT it, and any touching would be a fail. So, but there you go. Just wanted to show you with it on, and you can see there I've popped on the AliExpress special center caps, which really good quality, can't complain really, and they were cheap, only maybe a £5. And also just the icing is these tiny little Land Rover valve caps as well. So MOT, I need to get some new wiper blades on and pop on these ridge plates. Cringe. Wonderful. So, I'm not sure what order this footage is coming in, but I need to make sure that the wiper blade is fine for an MOT. So I'm just making sure I've got all the parts here. And to do that, I wanted to convert the rear to an aero blade wiper. And as far as I'm aware, there's nothing out of the box that actually fits. I couldn't find anything on the internet. I couldn't find anything on any forums. I've ordered some genuine Bosch Aero wipers for the front, but couldn't find anything for the rear. It's all this old style, which I just don't like the look, and it's just a bit of a challenge to see what I can fit. So ordered this cheap ass generic thing, which is supposed to be a multi-fit sort of system, and I have actually fit something similar to the Range Rover, and they do fit. So same situation, they don't make one, but you can buy a multi-clip system and get it to fit. However, this one, it just does not fit. So out of the box, it comes with, taking it off now, which one is it? This one comes with this on it, and it's supposed to fit the hook system on the back of these Discoveries there, but it just doesn't, it just fouls. And there's also a little, it's too chunky, and there's no way of closing the clip that comes on it because this arm's in the way. So I figured if we take it apart, what have we got? So I've taken this off and it just pulls straight off. You see it press fits there, so that goes onto that middle arm. So that's the pivot set part point there. That pops off. Now the original system has this on it, so I know this obviously fits into the hook system, and this just pops off. The center point for the pivot is there. There is a hole there where you could put a rivet or something through, but the center point for the pivot is there, and if you line both of those up there, they are exactly the same length, so the wiper would be in the right position. The only problem is this little clip is a little bit too chunky to fit in here nicely, so I'm going to shave this down. I'm going to sand it down flat, and I'm going to clip this in here, and that diameter of that hole there looks very similar to that diameter there. That's chunky, to be fair. It's a little bit thinner, but this has sort of a, it's got two steps to it, a chunky one and a slim one, so we'll see. Might be able to get it in that slimmer one and it's fine, but let's see if we can fit this using the original clip and get it back on. So I'm going to sand this first. Let's give it a go. So it's 180 grit, bit aggressive, but I can always refine it. I need a tool to push that in. I think we're on that first hole. Yeah, we are. No, I think it's as good as we're going to do. Let's see if it fits. Bit of silicone spray just to help it out, but I am going to repaint this arm because it's looking nasty. There's a stone there with some rust coming through. Will she fit, or is she too chunky? The gap there, that looks quite thick, but do you know what? I think I put it the wrong way around. Let's try again. One consideration though is that there is a little tab there that it locks into that hole, and you can see that through the old style mechanism, whereas this is solid, so I don't know how this is going to be for getting off. Might regret doing this, but that goes that way. To be fair, there is a tab at the back there, but you can probably lever something to get it out. If she goes in. I actually thought that wasn't in, but it is. It went straight in. That was it going in, and I can tell because I'll just slide that sheath out of the way. The wiper blade aligns with the dirt from the old one. So there you go. That looks much better in my opinion. I guess another hack you can do is, if you look at how these are constructed, they have little metal clips that are bent around the blades. So if you're not happy with the quality of this blade, then you can probably hack this and put a Bosch, get a cheap, what is it, 16-inch Bosch blade and put the rubber in from that, or get a Bosch version of this. I'm sure you can probably get one, but I guess the test now is, can you get this off? Yeah, of course you can. Look at that. That was actually, you can hear the click, just listen. Click. That's easier than the original. Click. Super happy with that. Hopefully that helps somebody, because I just don't like the look of the old style wipers, and I really don't know why they don't just make something like that. There we go. So I've just tested it. It clears the whole pathway. It's just this last bit here where it lifts off, and I'm talking literally a centimetre before it gets to the bottom. So there's no way that's an MLT fail or anything. So if you can live with that, then happy days. But you can see it's cleared the whole path and it's left nothing there. So I'd say that as a win. I may or may not modify that, I might not bother, because I'm quite happy with that, it's fine. You can just see that little bit there. Other than that, it's a win. Can't remember if I already showed you these, but we have some pressed plates to go on, which I think look awesome. I went with the black border. Wasn't sure at first, but I changed my mind, because you can spec them without. So these are from Chase Lane plates. These are, from memory, 13 by 6 inch, I think they are. I'm not sure why they're 6 inch high, because the standard in Japan is, I think, usually 6.5 inch, but they do look pretty cool. So, and I literally couldn't find any 6.5 inch high press plates anywhere that weren't, you know, at show plates. So these are all fully legal. So I need to take the plates off. These are 6.5, just to give you an idea of what they look like. And polish up, you can see. And I'm going to stick these on with tape, not the screws. So I need to make sure I know where they go. They're not even put on properly, these, it sounds like gap. The front one's going to be a bit more of a faff, but let's do this one first. Whoa, she popped. These guys are tight. I don't think that's factory. I think they're probably factory. And I'm surprised then if this has not been getting water past in there. Don't know if I've got any rubber bungs. If not, I'll just make sure it's covered with the tape for the minute. Right, these caps have been out. I think I already showed that. I put some paint in the holes there. I'm using this stuff from paintgear.co.uk, which I think I've shown you guys before. This is colour matched to Fuji-White, 867 Fuji-White. So I've just brushed that in. Also, wherever they've damaged with like a screwdriver or something to take these factory plugs out, I've filled those bits in as well to repair, just cover anything up. There's some marks, or was some marks at the top here and down the side where the paint has been rubbing. So I just brushed some paint in, wet and dry sanded it off, and then polished that out, so they look really good. So I've got the new plate here, 3M tape. It's a bit thin, but I think it'll be fine. And these line up to cover these holes, and I've already covered those up there. And then I've put some markers on with a little pen just to mark halfway there, and get this exactly halfway where the original holes were. I'm just pretty much ignoring those. It should look pretty good. I've given it all a machine polish and wiped it down with some IPA. So let's stick around. I think that looks awesome. I just need to rub the pen marks off with a bit of alcohol and move on to the front. So we're onto the front, but the problem with this one, if you catch it on camera, it like bananas inwards in the middle, and it just looks crap. Aside from the fact that they've just done a terrible job using these dreadful screws. So let's get these out, and I could thicken the tape up in the middle to bring it out, but I don't really want to do that. Let's see what's going on in the middle there, and I might have to pack it out behind the plastic bracket. With this being a Japanese model, this has obviously got, as you can see, a rectangular shaped plate at the front, whereas the UK models, European models, have a different bracket for a UK long plate. So I've cleaned this up. I think what is happening is there's a little hook there, hooks over the back of here, and it pulls it in, and it just bananas it like that. And I just think it looks crap. There's nothing pulling these sides in it really. Should have had 3 or a continuous one. So I think the only way to do it is to get the Dremel out and just put a little crafty little slit in there that this will sit in, that actually pushes it out and pushes it straight. That's the plan anyway. Don't really want to go butchering anything because it's all in original, good condition, but can't see a better way of doing it. And even if you did decide that you didn't want it, you know, like that, you would never see it or know. So let's give that a go. Back on. Miles better. The gap on here is more consistent as well. And if you take a straight edge to it now, there's almost no gap. It's mainly the top and bottom that's the issue, so yeah, it's perfect. Let's stick the plate on. That looks cool. Love it. That's it for this video, guys. Appreciate it was probably a bit longer than I was hoping for, but needs must. The brakes were a big job, but I'm glad it's done. Thanks for watching. Next video probably going to be something about the MOT. Did it pass its MOT? Did it not? Is there anything that I need to do? And then I've got a load of stuff to chuck on the car, modifications wise, mainly styling stuff like black stuff, lights, etc. So thanks for sticking around. I know it's been a long one, but I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video.